everyone, to Wolfstorf Rosenthal's continuing H-1B Toolkit for Employers webinar series. Today we're talking about preparing for USCIS site visits. My name is James Pinedo. I work with Wolfstorf's knowledge-based team. And before we get started, we got a quick disclaimer for you. This does not constitute legal advice and is for informational purposes only. For legal opinions, please schedule a consult with one of our attorneys. Speaking of attorneys, we've got a great member of our team presenting for you today. Mr. Nathan Groh is a senior associate with the firm and possesses comprehensive experience with various corporate immigration legal matters, as well as family-based U.S. immigration. Based out of Wolfstorf's Oakland office, Nate specializes in representing investors and entrepreneurs in obtaining non-immigrant and immigrant visas, as well as employees of startups. He's got a great presentation all ready to go. Nate, we'll let you take it from here.
Thank you very much, James. So our topic for today is USCIS site visits. So we represent a large number of companies that have H-1B employees, and a lot of my clients are surprised to learn that USCIS can actually send officers to your company to conduct site visits. Many people don't know USCIS actually has a unit dedicated to detecting fraud. It's called the Fraud Detection and National Security Directorate. What kind of fraud are we talking about? FDNS is responsible for identifying companies and individuals that have made misrepresentations in immigration-related petitions and applications. One of the principal ways that they fulfill this mission is by sending officers to conduct site visits at company offices. So this webinar series is focused on H-1B. So today we are focusing just on site visits related to H-1B employees. So who can receive an FDNS site visit? Any company that employs H-1B or L-1 workers can receive a site visit. So you may be saying at this point, site visits, government agents coming to visit your offices unannounced, demanding answers. I know this can sound very intimidating, but as we're going to discuss, if you and your company are prepared, then really there is nothing to worry about. But the important thing to know is that a site visit can happen. Your company may have never received one in the past. They don't happen very often. They are rare. USCIS does not have a budget to conduct a high volume of site visits, but that does not mean that this is something that's not going to happen for your company. Any company with H-1B employees can get a visit, so it's important to be prepared. So what is the purpose of these visits? An officer is going to show up at your business, is going to come to your work site, and what are they going to do? You may be asking, what are they going to ask me for? What questions? What are they going to request? So first of all, the officer is going to come and they're going to want to speak with the person who signed the petition. They may ask to speak with a representative of the company who's authorized to speak on behalf of the company. And what are they going to be asking about? They'll ask to confirm the details set forth in the H-1B petition for a specific H-1B worker. They're looking to verify the existence of the company. They want to make sure that the company wasn't just invented for the purpose of getting someone a visa. They may ask about the company's products and services, about the company's revenue, the company's employees. They want to make sure that the petition doesn't have an invented title, salary, or duties for an H-1B worker that were made up just for the purpose of getting that worker an H-1B visa. So you may be asking, well, I'm going to get all these questions. This officer is going to show up. Do I have to cooperate? Do I have to answer all the questions? We recommend that you do. Lack of cooperation with an H-1B site visit can lead to more scrutiny. So knowing that these site visits happen, the important thing is to be prepared, and the time to prepare is now. So the most important way to prepare, to make sure that you're prepared when an H-1B site visit happens, is to ensure that your H-1B petitions accurately reflect the terms of your H-1B employees' jobs. So on the screen here are several types of changes to an H-1B employee's position that may necessitate an amendment of the H-1B petition. You don't want an officer coming to conduct a site visit and discovering that there has been one of these types of changes and then asking, well, why didn't you file an H-1B amendment? When there is a change in an H-1B employee's job that requires an amendment, the regulations require that the amendment be filed before the change happens. So if there's one thing to take away from the presentation today, it should be this. This list of 5 factors, if you become aware that one of these factors is going to change in a way that affects an H-1B employee, you should reach out to your immigration attorney ASAP. Are any changes, any change in hours, any change in duties or title, is it going to require an H-1B amendment? No, not always. But it's important to reach out to your attorney so that the attorney can help you assess whether an amendment is required. If during a site visit an officer discovers that the real-life details do not match the details in the petition, it can be the basis for USCIS to find that the H-1B employee is in violation of their status, and it could be the basis for USCIS to send a notice of intent to revoke the H-1B petition. So another part of being prepared is to create a site visit action plan. We recommend that all businesses employing H-1B workers create a site visit action plan and circulate it. Make sure that H-1B workers, that everybody is aware that there is a plan and what to do in the event of a site visit. First of all, you need to ensure that reception, security, whoever is going to greet a visitor to the office, make sure that they're aware that site visits can happen. And if a FDNS USCIS employee shows up, make sure that they are ready to immediately contact HR and make them aware that a site visit is happening. You should designate one HR representative for the company, probably someone from HR who's most familiar with immigration and with the H-1B petitions for the company's H-1B employees. Designate that person to lead the response to a site visit and have a backup in case that person is not around when a site visit happens. And then when a site visit happens, make sure that that person is immediately alerted, as well as your H-1B employees and your immigration attorney. We recommend, if you can, get your immigration attorney on the phone or by video conference so that the immigration attorney can listen and participate in any interviews conducted by the USCIS officer. I mentioned before that you should try to cooperate as much as possible and answer the officer's questions. If your immigration attorney is on the phone, let your immigration attorney push back and tell the officer that question goes beyond the scope of the H-1B petition. It's not something that the company needs to answer. We also recommend that you keep copies of all H-1B petitions handy and consider giving each H-1B employee a copy of their petition so that they can be familiar with what's in the petition. Some of our clients are hesitant to do that because petitions have some company information that maybe they don't want the H-1B employees to see. If that's the case, you can redact out whatever you don't want an employee to see. Give them a copy of the petition. That way they can help you flag if there's a change in their employment that maybe requires an amendment. They can help keep themselves and the company prepared in case there is a site visit. So you may be asking, if an officer shows up, what happens if the HR representative, or what happens if the employee that they're asking about is not present that day? They're out sick, or they're on vacation, or traveling, whatever reason. Can you reschedule? You can ask to reschedule. You can talk to the officer and explain, this person's not here today, can we reschedule for another day? Will the officer agree to that? Maybe. It doesn't hurt to ask. We recommend that you take careful notes. Whoever is talking to the officer, whoever the officer wants to talk to, take notes of what questions you were asked. Take notes of what your answers are. We recommend that you listen carefully to the questions asked by the officer and just answer those questions. Avoid the temptation to offer long explanations. You don't need to provide information that you think the officer's looking for. Just listen to the questions and answer the questions. In this sense, less is more. You don't need to offer up any more information than what is requested. So these are our recommendations for dealing with site visits. Most importantly, prepare in advance by flagging changes that may require an H-1B amendment. Have a plan, make sure that plan is communicated. Thank you very much for joining us today with this webinar series. If you have any questions, my contact information is on this last page here. Please feel free to reach out. Thank you very much.